The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Paranormal Concept right here on Parasearch UK Radio with your host, Paul Rook.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Paranormal Concept Show. I'm your host, Paul Rook, and tonight's show we are going to be discussing the Chinese Zodiac because it just so happens to be the Chinese New Year tonight. Or today, even. So, without further ado, I'll introduce my co-host. Hello, Kerry.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How have you been?
Banging my head against the computer screen today was kind of where I go with that one,
The amount of research you sent me. Don't blame you.
I don't like astrology. I'm going to put it out there now.
Okay. So why did you pick the subject?
Well, because it seems like a good idea at the time, quite frankly. It seemed like a good idea at the time, being as it is, Happy Chinese New Year and all that. But it's very complicated.
Yeah. Very in-depth. And for those that don't know, this year is the year of the pig. As Kerry bugging me about it all day.
I've been whinging in his ear all day.
Oh dear.
In fact, I got that bored at one point. I would just like to say I actually Googled some symptoms and I'm going to pop my cogs very soon. I would just that's how bored I got. I actually was sitting there going, I've got a bit of a problem with my hand. I think I'm going to Google the symptoms. And yeah, it's definite. I'm not long for this mortal coil. So make the most of me for tonight. That's how bored I got.
You're not allowed to go anywhere, and if you do, you've still got to do the studio from the other side.
Oh, don't worry. I won't stop nagging you. Don't you worry about that. I'll just do it by a Ouija board instead. Spirit box or something.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my Lord.
Scary stuff. Anyway.
You all want proof of life after life. You'll certainly get it with me, I tell you.
Excellent.
I think the funniest part of that was I told Ashley, my friend Ashley Nibb, that this is the end is nigh because of my Googled symptoms, and I went and I bequeathed you my computer and all my notebooks, and he was like, no, no. I was like, and I'll be on my cloud, laughing and laughing. You ripping your hair out.
You'll be sorting out all the information that's sent to the cloud.
Wow, yeah, we say, right, you can have that bit of information. There you go, looking down from my cloud. Could you imagine me in the spirit world? That'd be hysterical. I'd be bossing them all around, wouldn't I?
You would. You would be, absolutely. It'd be like, yep, you go there, you do that.
I'm like, right, you? Right, there's an investigation tonight. Who fancies doing Saltmarsh Hall, for example? Being as you've got that coming up soon. Who fancies that one? I've got a lot of friends going on that one. They want some really good activity.
That's it, indeed. And if you fancy coming to Saltmarsh Hall, absolutely do it. It's an amazing location. 16th of February I've got that for.
You have?
So I'm really looking forward to that.
What's the website link?
It is www.phoenixevents.info/paranormal. and I will put that back up onto the chat room at some point.
Nice plug
And
there.
I'll type it out slowly.
Anyway, year of pig.
Yes, it's the year of the pig. So tell me what you found out about the year of the pig while I type this website up.
Well, as I say, I'm going to reiterate, this is not the easiest of topic to layman term it down, quite frankly. Astrology is, well, any form of astrology. Now, of interesting fact, did you know there are 80 usable forms of astrology around the world being used today? That's a lot, isn't it? Different types of astrology.
I didn't know that, but okay.
Oh, you do now. But we're looking at the Chinese one tonight. Now, this is a cyclical method, and it repeats every 60 years. Now, although there are only 12 animals, it's split down into 5 elements, and then, it goes off into lots of different areas and branches and this, that, and the next. And basically, the combinations work out to be, 60 different combinations. So every 60 years, it then starts again. But every 12 years, a different animal will come in, but different traits will be pulled out within the year down to the 60-year cycle, if that makes sense, right? So there is 12 different animals. We've got the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the sheep, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig. And the pig is the 12th animal in the zodiac. God, right? Honestly, my brains are dribbled out my ears through this one. I'm not an astrologist.
You've got this. You're doing really well. Carry on.
Okay, so the horoscopes were developed around the animal signs, and they predict your personality traits and destiny. Now, in China, it's a really, really important thing, right? To when you're born, they get it, the divination, and then as the child grows up, they live their life by this astrology basically, and what would work and what wouldn't work, and stuff like this. I mean, we see it quite a lot in Chinese business in regards to feng shui of their buildings and stuff like that. They're hugely superstitious, like the Chinese, bless them.
They are indeed.
Yeah. Now, it's also important to remember that you have to determine the hour in which you were born, but the hour is not based on the local time, but in relation to the sun's location. Don't ask me what the difference is, because honestly, it was complicated.
I suppose it's a bit like with our zodiac. It's different times represent the rising signs within our sign, if that makes sense. So you could be a Capricorn with, I don't know, Aries rising or something. I don't know how it works.
No, that leads more into the Western astrology, but I suppose it does sort of it probably means the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's really, really quite, it's really quite confusing, quite frankly, everybody. I'm not going to lie. I was bashing my head against the computer at various times going, that still doesn't explain what that means. It's just... But then having said that, this is one area of spiritualism, or divination, that I can't really get my head around.
I can tell it's fried your brain, because it's almost like looking at you just stuck your finger in a plug socket.
Honestly, my hair is honestly, I've done so much today. Right? It's untrue. Now, each animal has very specific traits. And as I say, there's whole websites that you can look at compatibility with other signs and stuff like that. But it's not just about that. It's also about the 5 elements. Can you tell me what the 5 elements are, Paul?
Oh, wind, earth, fire, and I'd have metal as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, metal,
That's 4,
water, wood, fire, and earth.
That's it. Yep.
Right. So
I knew there'd be one I forgot.
They're the 5 elements. Now, the belief is that they interact with the natural phenomena. So the 5 elements that... Oh, God, this goes back so many years, it's untrue. The element has a different trait as well as the animal. So the characteristics of the 5 elements are assigned to the 12 animal signs. But because of how it falls, you'll get like a pig in a water year, or you'll get a pig in a earth year, and it's actually an earth year pig this year, right? Mm-hmm. But, so each pig won't necessarily be the same element. Every time a pig comes round in a 60-year cycle, it would have a different element assigned to it.
Right, okay, yep.
Okay, not just that.
When it gets to December this year, be pigs in blankets.
Not just that. Oh, for God's sake. Not just that, but there are opposing forces within each sign too, right? So if you think of yin and yang, right, it's masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Hold on, just turn the phone off. Masculine and feminine, right? So yin is perceived as female, and it's earth, dark, passive. So we've got an earth pig in a yin false.
Okay.
Right? You see, guys, it's not easy, is it? Right? And the yang is perceived as is a masculine, so it's heaven, light, and active, right? So all these different combinations mean different things every single year, depending on when you were born, and then it depends on when the sun is in the sky, not the time. It's very exciting. Now,
you're an expert now.
Oh God, honestly, I've not got the patience to learn this stuff at all. Now, the Chinese Zodiac actually goes really far back. It's like they reckon it even predates Buddhism.
Yep.
That's what they reckon. Right, so how did they get the 12 animals? Because they could have picked millions of animals, but they picked these 12. Why did they pick these 12, Paul?
Well, right. So, some people say that the Buddha or Jade Emperor called upon the animals to help mankind, and only 12 responded. But then there's also other theories that go on to say that there was a great race held to determine which animals would be placed in the zodiac for eternity. And based on where these animals came in the race, obviously the first that crossed the line got the places. So there you go.
So
That's just two theories.
Well, the rat was first and the pig finished last. Well, the pig was searching for truffles along the way.
Yeah, as you would. Be like, no, it's not this for a laugh. I'm going to
Now,
there are little stories attached to them as well. Like, before the show, I read you out about the horse.
Yeah.
The snake caught a lift with the horse, but the horse didn't realise it. And just as he was about to cross the finish line, the snake jumped out and got, was it 5th place? And the horse...
It's a whole series of stories and stuff. It's crazy. Honestly, it's really massive, this topic. Now, Buddha is the central figure in most of the stories regarding the Chinese Zodiac, but there is evidence that it predates Buddhism, as I said. Now, they reckon that the early Chinese astronomers devised a system based on the 12-year orbit of Jupiter, which was quite clever, really, wasn't it?
Yep.
Love it.
Oh dear, yes.
Because you would think logically that they would just go on the planets they could see with the naked eye. Because predating Buddhism, how did they know about Jupiter? And all right, you can see stars in the sky, but the two main planets that are visible all the time are the two big ones, obviously, the sun and the moon.
Well, I don't think the sun's classed as a planet, but okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just splitting hairs. Come on, we're predating Buddhism here.
Isn't that more like the yin and the yang type thing with the sun and moon?
Well, you would think that that's what they would sort of work with, but they didn't. They went with Jupiter. So, good old Jupes came in. I don't know. As I say, don't ask me about astrology. Very, very basic knowledge on it. In fact, when I went to the planetarium once, they were talking about Andromeda and all that. Well, my knowledge on that one came from the Clash of the Titans. Thought I knew that topic because Clash of the Titans, right? No, I didn't, did I? Didn't know that one at all. As the astronomer man told me. I was like, that's only as good as your research sometimes, just watching a film.
I can imagine you going in there. Which one's Perseus?
Yeah, where's Perseus? Pegasus. Is that one there? That's Pegasus. No, that's not Pegasus. That's something completely different. Oh my God. Anyway, the system includes 12 earthly branches. Now, I tried to find out what these earthly branches were. I gave up.
You couldn't find them?
Well, I could. I didn't understand what the hell it was going on about. But, I found earthly branches of what it said were earthly branches, but that went really complicated. It weren't like a list of what the earthly branches were.
Yeah.
It was very complicated, everybody. I'm not saying this. So I've got a slightly manic, frazzled tone to my voice tonight. So anyway, this year is the year of the pig. And as we said, the pig is the 12th of all zodiac animals. Now, one of the myths, we've talked about the race. Well, another myth was allegedly to do with the Jade Emperor. And he said the order would be decided by which they arrived to his party. And the old pig was late because he overslept.
He'd already eaten the buffet.
Probably. And another story says that a wolf destroyed his house. Now, when I read that, I was thinking, I wondered, as you do, is that sort of the origin of where the Three Little Piggies story come from? There's probably nothing to do with that, but, it kind of made me think. And he had to rebuild his home before he could set off. It made me wonder.
Interesting. You will have to look at that link.
But I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I stuck to topic for once.
Well done.
I know, right? I could have gone down the origins of the Three Little Piggies after reading that, but I didn't. I was very restrained. And honestly, I went off on so many tangents throughout today trying to get my head around this. It was untrue. So now, pigs. Let's have a look at pigs themselves.
Yep.
What are their traits?
Well, they're happy basking in their own stuff.
I'm not quite sure that that's where they were going with it, but I'm sure there are other features that the pig has got.
Well, it does state in one of these websites that I have found that their strengths are that apparently they're intelligent, thoughtful, creative, responsible, curious, and noble. That's what it says about the pig as their strengths. Their weaknesses could be described as gullible, materialistic, insecure, and hot-tempered.
Ooh, hot-tempered piggy.
Absolutely. It also goes on to the compatibility. So they would be compatible with tigers, rabbits, goats, or dragons. They wouldn't necessarily get along with snakes or monkeys. The element is water. And the yin or yang is yin. So what's that? Is that that's the female bit, isn't it?
Yin is female, yang is male.
Yeah, okay. It also goes on to say some of the years that, the pig, the year of the pigs, going back to 1971.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, we do have a list of years and animal correspondence. If anybody in the chat room wants to know what their corresponding animal is, just let us know, and we shall endeavour. We shall endeavour to fill you in on your traits. Talking of chat room, good evening everybody. We've got Henry in there, we've got Mark Penn in there, Gemma, Andy is in there, Who else is in there? Let's have a look. Richard Clements is in there. Good evening, Richard. And Ashley Nib. So welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us. If you would like us to snake. Andy Castle says he's a snake.
I'll look up the snake.
Have a little look at snake.
Snake.
He's clever though, wasn't he? If he got a lift from the horse, sorry.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm talking to children, doesn't he? He got on the horsey and he galloped down the road with the snakey wakey on its backy wacky. Right, come on, you must have found the snake by now. It's all wacky backy, yeah.
Okay, yes. With the snake, the strengths are wise. It has to have these words that I can't even say. Enigmatic.
Enigmatic, yeah.
Intuitive, sympathetic, mesmerising, sensual, and beautiful.
Beautiful, Andy. Raw.
And your weaknesses, oh God, some of these words. Hedonistic, I don't even know what that means. That's a new one on me. Vain, malicious, over materialistic, and duplicacious. Duplicitous, whatever that says.
That word.
Duplicitous, I don't know. You're compatible with the rooster, ox, or dragon. Yep. You'll definitely not get along with tiger. And you're the fire element.
Ah, there you go. That's what a snake is all about. Paul?
And you've got the yin. Yep.
You're a dragon.
I know.
He's a dragon, everybody.
The best of them all.
That's what I'm going to say to that. And I know our lovely Professor Nib in the chat room is a dragon too. So tell us the dragon.
Oh, okay, let's find the dragon. Absolutely awesome at everything they do.
I'm going to... Sorry, everybody. I'm just going to recheck this one because I don't believe a word of it.
Apparently their strengths are that they are courageous, intelligent, charismatic, and passionate. The weakness is inflexible and brash. They are compatible with rats, tigers, snakes, or monkeys. They wouldn't necessarily get along with ox, sheep, or dog. They're an earth sign, earth element, and they are very masculine, so it'd be yang. There you go.
Brilliant. So is that correct,
yeah.
Paul?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd go along with that. It is for me anyway.
I'm assuming Ashley would take that on too. Right, we've got a few more in here actually. They're all wanting it now. Richard Clements, can you work out mine? He's May the 8th in 1965.
Okay, I shall endeavour to get on that now.
Right, so we'll come to you, Gemma, and Henry will come back to you. Me, personally, I'm a lovely rooster. It sounds about right, just with a name, doesn't it, rooster? Now, I am the epitome of fidelity and punctuality. I have to say I am. I'm not going to lie. I am. I can't stand people being late. It really winds me up. Now,
I found Richard's sign.
Oh, okay, go with Richard's.
Richard is the sign of the snake.
Oh, he's a snake too.
Yeah, we've read that one out. So, Richard, you're a snake, apparently.
Right, so let's go back. Gemma is 1983. Oh, bless her. I was nearly leaving school then.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was doing back in 83. It was so long ago.
Clubbing. That's what I was doing. A lot.
I went to school then.
It's all right, Richard. You're beautiful. Remember that. Of all the traits, you're wise and beautiful. He's going, ooh.
Yeah.
He's wise and beautiful.
By what pattern was on the snake's back, so you could have anything. Make it look good.
I'm not quite sure that's relevant. Have you found Gemma's yet?
No, I'm looking now. 19th of November, okay. So, let's go that one. Carry on talking.
Okay, well, I'll go back to myself. I'm charming, witty, honest, blunt, capable, talented, obviously, brave and self-reliant. I don't have any weaknesses at all. No, my weaknesses are controlling, insensitive, narrow-minded. I wouldn't say I was narrow-minded. Selfish and reckless, and I'm definitely not selfish either. And I'm the safest person in the world, so I don't take my weaknesses on board at all.
But you might, if obviously you've got the rooster side of it, but then you've also got the equivalent of the rising sign as well. So that might be more
the positive.
Dominant.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Which is the charming, witty, honest, capable, talented and brave and self-reliant.
But, well, I've just found Gemma's one. Gemma is the year of the pig.
Oh, you're a pig?
Yeah, Gemma's a pig, apparently.
Oh, no, not like that. Just year of the pig, year of the pig.
I was going to say, these signs are not very flattering, are they?
No, they're a bit harsh, aren't they? God.
Oh dear, that's funny.
So we know what that's about with the old pig. So let's finish rooster. Here, right? The rooster is the one who found the raft that carried the monkey and the sheep across the river to finish the race, that determined their places in the zodiac. I'm resourceful as well.
Yeah, excellent. Well done.
But this is... He does say this. I'm going to read this bit because it's quite funny. As the most observant and hard-working animal in the calendar, the rooster would of course spotted the raft and would have congratulated himself about it all the way across the river. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I really stop talking about it.
I'm going to go, who found the raft? I found the raft. Who found the raft? I found the raft. Just so you didn't, in case you didn't catch that, guess who found the raft? That was me. And roosters are supposed to be they're the most psychic animal as well. Just putting that out there, everybody. I know. Right, so who else? Henry, 1964, April the 7th, 1964.
I'm way ahead of you. That is the year of the dragon.
Ah, you're a dragon too. Oh, gosh, we've got very common themes going on tonight in the old chat room.
Yep, absolutely. Dragons are awesome.
They are. So I moved on. I got bored with the Chinese Zodiac. I moved on. And I thought, how many people actually bother, like I had to go Western at this point because I thought, well, the most zodiacs we know about are the signs that we all, relate to in the West, which is like the West is called the Western or tropical zodiac. And do you know what? 30% of the population believe in astrology.
8 people.
Pardon?
There's only 8 people.
8?
Yeah, nice round number, isn't it?
How did you get 8 from 30%? A little confused now. Now, 20... Now, there's a curveball. What? It's only as bad as working with Mark Manley some nights. Anyway, 20% of people check their horoscope on a regular basis. Now, these statistics, I would just like to add, these weren't particularly well thought out because it didn't actually say whether it was daily, weekly or monthly. So they could check them like once a month, 20% check it once a month or 20% check it daily. It wasn't a good statistical report I found on this. Just saying, for all those scientists in the chat room. But that's what they reckon. 30% believe in it and 20% check it on a regular basis. Now, in Western society, it is on the position of the sun, not Jupiter, which is what the old Chinese one is on. This is on the position of the sun. Now, our modern day zodiac goes back to the Mesopotamians.
Yes, apparently so.
It does.
Is that your cue for me to read a bit?
Well, your cue to actually put something in, yeah, you know.
Okay, you pick a civilization that I can't even pronounce, didn't you?
Well, I've already said it for you, so you just go them.
Yeah, them.
Mesopotamians.
Basically that they believed there was a connection between the earthly events and celestial movements. They eventually developed the Western Zodiac and the concept of natal astrology by the 5th century.
Birth charts, everybody. Birth charts.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm going with that one, to be fair. According to the Zodiac and the natal astrology, the life of the people can be determined based on the position of the planets at the moment of their birth. So, there you go.
Now, this made its way into Greece in the 6th century, and that's where a lot of the tales behind the constellations come from. And it all sort of like got absorbed into the Greek culture and their philosophies. So that's where a lot of our modern day astrology comes from. Now, as I said, if you're going to do a natal chart, a birth chart, then you have to have the date of birth, the exact position of the sun at that date, and the exact time as well. Now, these are the signs that we all know and love, which is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Now, again, the 12 zodiac signs are supposed to have basic personality types and different talents. Again, they're linked to 4 elements rather than the 5. Fire and air signs are supposed to be masculine, and earth and water signs are very feminine. Now, they also split into 3 further qualities, which are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. But that depends on seasons and planet positions and stuff like that. And again, at that point, it got really complicated.
Very much so. I'm already lost.
Right, I know, right? It's not an easy topic. Right, I thought it would be. Right, so, Paul, what
I got lost as soon as you went through the star signs. My star sign is a Capricorn.
Uh-huh.
And apparently it's the 10th sign of the Zodiac. And it's, funny enough, it's all about hard work. Very, very hard working I am. Those born under the sun are more than happy to put a full day in at the office, realising that it will likely take a lot of those days to get to the top. But that's no problem, since Capricorns are both ambitious and determined. They will get there. Life is one big project for those people, and they adopt they adopt a business-like approach to most things they do. Capricorns are practical as well, taking one step at a time, being realistic, pragmatic if possible. Those with Capricorn zodiac signs are extremely dedicated to their goals, almost to the point of stubbornness. Those victories sure will smell sweet though, and it basically keeps the Capricorns going.
Okay. Paul, in all honesty, does this sound like you, or do you think you're more relatable to the pig?
No, I don't think I'm no, I don't know. To be honest, yes, it does, in a roundabout way. Okay, I like to find the easiest way of doing things, but I do have a goal, and I'm very stubborn, and I will get there in the end. It's about playing the long game with me, So I'm very focused constantly. I know what I want, know where I'm going. But as for hard work, yes and no. I mean, I do work hard, don't get me wrong, but it's just easy work.
He works hard when he's got a Sagittarian behind him going, "Will you just do it?"
I mean, I've got, obviously, Phoenix event side of things as well, so I do dedicate certain days to different work. My radio day is Tuesdays.
Excuses
so
are coming out now, everybody.
Do what?
So the excuses are coming out now.
Yeah.
He's good at delegating. That's one thing Paul is good at.
Yeah, but it's a whole managing thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much on top of that. I'm very good at organising.
Yeah.
So I do the work, and I put in the work.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm winding you up.
I know. I just find the easiest way of doing it.
We're giving it to somebody else to do. I'm a Sagittarian. In case anybody hadn't noticed, fire sign. And I'm curious and energetic. And I'm one of the biggest travellers amongst all the zodiac signs. That don't sound like me at all. I have to be winkle picked out of my home. Their open mind and philosophical view motivates them to wander around the world in search of the meaning of life. I am extrovert, optimistic and enthusiastic and likes change. I don't. Sagittarians are able to transform their thoughts into concrete actions and they would do anything to achieve their goals. That was my evil laugh. I need to be constantly in touch with the world to experience as much as possible. And my ruling planet is Jupiter.
And there it is again, Jupiter.
Good old Jupes pops back up again. Yeah. My enthusiasm has no bounds, and therefore people born under the Sagittarian sign possess a great sense of humour and intense curiosity. That's me. Apart from the travel and wants to, I don't travel. I don't like travel. I would just like to point out I am very unlike a Sagittarian in this way because no thanks. But I am very open-minded. I suppose I travel on the net. I suppose we could look at it in that way. I do a lot of travelling. I've been to a lot of places on the internet. But getting me there in real life, forget it.
As well, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you want to look up somewhere, somewhere you've never been, and you want to look at the road map. You can literally walk down the road without even leaving your phone room.
Exactly. Google Maps and all that.
Yeah, exactly. I do that. I've done that now for ghost tours, when I've put the ghost tours on.
You know
so
what?
I find that stuff.
Yeah, when we've done research on a location or something like that, not when I've been working psychically, obviously, but, before we hit a location, there have been quite a few nights where we've been doing, geological looks and walk the streets and stuff like that on Google Maps. It's actually it provides quite a wealth of information. I can't, if I say it, he's not going to. So it is quite a little, interesting little, anyway, we diverge. We've gone off topic. So anyway, again, I got a bit bored. So I then went off on another tangent. So I thought, what were some of the other forms? Because if there's 80 different ones that are in usage today, they should be surely there's an easy one. Yeah. Surely.
And you've gone on to Vedic astrology.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I've never heard of this one.
No, but this is more comes out more from India, to be fair.
Okay.
And they don't call it Vedic or Vedic. They call it Yotish. Yotish. How would you say that?
Vedic.
We'll go with Vedic. And the difference between Western and Vedic is that we use the sun in the position, and it's based on a fixed observable positions of the constellation. No, sorry, I've got that confused. Oh, God, see what I mean? It gets confusing. Jyotish, or Vedic, is based on the fixed observable position of the constellations as we see them in the sky, whereas Western is tropical, which is based on the observable positions of the constellation in relation to the sun. So they change. Don't ask me, honestly, I thought it all changed all the time because of the way the Earth moved and the axis and all that crap. But do you know what I mean? This is what makes it so confusing, I think, because the sky isn't a set position thing, is it? It's constantly in motion, and every time it moves, it means something different. And this is what becomes a bit of a difficult situation, and trying to work out differences between things. It doesn't mean, for me, it doesn't mean there's a huge difference between them, but apparently there is, because people look at it from different ways. Anyway, this is where my knowledge of astrology is not good enough, because I don't get it, quite frankly.
So, I mean, something that's quite common in astrology is the whole position of the sun. But at the end of the day, it's not the sun's position that determines it. It's got to be the position of the Earth, surely, because the sun is at the centre of the solar system and it don't move anywhere. It's us that are moving, not the sun.
Yeah.
So the sun stays constant; it ain't moving nowhere.
But that's in relation to where we are. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just that way around. So it should be more to do with the position of the Earth, not the sun.
But it's very hard when you're on the Earth to work out the position unless you're doing it in relation to something else, so they picked the constant, which is the sun.
They still do it because they're getting. They should be able to regulate it and stuff.
You got to remember, this is going back a long time ago, Paul. I mean, come on, they didn't even have telescopes, for God's sakes.
Okay, the sun moves around the cosmos randomly, maybe.
And isn't the whole universe in motion too? The universe isn't our little planetary system.
No, that's right. But the point is that it remains constant, and we go around the sun. The sun doesn't go around.
Anyway, back to Vedic. God, we're going to get into an argument about space and planets and stuff, which I don't know anything about. Now, because of a phenomena called the precession of equinoxes and a wobble in the axial spin of the Earth, the tropical positions have gradually moved away from the fixed sidereal constellations at a rate of about 1 degree every 72 years. So this is where the difference comes in. So going on a Western astrology, so you could be, for example, I'm a Sagittarian in Western astrology, but according to Vedic, I could be something different because of this difference that has occurred over every 72 years. So, oh God, it's moved about 24 degrees. So there is a difference between the two astrological systems by that many degrees. So if you was actually doing a chart, your chart in Western astrology would be different, possibly, on your chart in Vedic. Because of this wobble and this equinox thing and this difference in degrees.
Yeah, it's way above my head. Way above my pay grade.
Oh, tell me about it, right? I know, right? This is well out of our comfort zone on the old paranormal. It's completely... Honestly, I have my astrologists now. I mean, I know that you would pick one. You wouldn't try and cram several different methods of working into one day's research. So I do get that what I've done is very minimal compared to a proper astrologist. They would have studied this for years and years and years. But I don't know I don't know if I would have had the staying power to learn even one particular form of astrological divination, to be fair.
I do find particularly the Chinese astrology is the most interesting, and I think it's the most accurate.
Well, when I looked into it, it actually was the Vedic that turned out to be the most accurate.
Okay.
Out of all of them. Not
I'm just
the Chinese or the Western.
I'm just looking forward to the explanation for the next one.
Oh, God, the next one is horrendous. Right, you think this is bad? Let's just finish off Vedic. Oh, honestly, the next one. We're I had to include it because it's quite funny. Anyway, they do something. They enter the chart through what is called the ascendant, the constellation that is rising on the eastern horizon at the time of the person's birth. Now, that is what sets up the relationship between the planets at the time of birth, the event of the birth.
Right.
Right? And then that is where they get their traits and personals and divination for their life from.
So as soon as they're born, they're just assigned...
Well, as soon as they're born, they're ascending. So they ascend through life, is how they see it. And that depends on the constellation that is ascending at that particular time.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's absolutely. There's nothing about this that isn't, except the next one, maybe.
Well, the next... So, again, I was looking for... Now, there was something called a horary astrology. But this one, I liked this one because this actually basically distills down to one question. So you can make a prediction. Now, this reminded me of tarot. That's why I included it, because it reminded me very much of tarot.
Yep.
Right, because it works on answering a question. Okay? So you ask a question, basically, and you draw a horoscope regarding that particular question. Now, it's set up in exactly the same manner as any other form of astrology, but it is at that specific moment in time the question is asked. Then they draw the horoscope about that question.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, some of the main areas of questions tends to be the normal ones. Love is top. Relationships is always top. Followed by wealth is the second one. Followed by career choices. So they're the top three things that people generally want divination on.
Yep.
Right? So bearing that in mind, if you then go into a reading and you want an astrological reading, this is, and you want to know exactly one thing about, you have to be very specific as well with this. Is what I found out. You can't re-ask the question if you don't get the answer you want. There ain't no going back. You can't go back on that question. So you only get one shot at this. You can ask different questions, but you can't go back and ask the question again. Whereas tarot, you just can go back daily if you want. It'll tell you off, but you can keep going back. Now, and again, this works on a house system. It reminds me of Harry Potter. And there are several different houses, and each house is a different area. So, like the first house, for example, represents the person asking the question. The second house deals with the querent's movable possessions. So that when you start asking about money, that's where it becomes relevant, is the second house. Third house is forms of communication. And it was also believed to be the house that dealt with rumours and gossip. Right? Okay. The fourth house is your property and your land. Mm-hmm. The fifth is your creativity and talents. The sixth will be about sickness and ill health. The seventh is marriage and committed relationships. So you can see how they've broken down these houses into specific areas of life, basically. Yeah. So it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And on.
But how many houses does it cater for?
12. The common thing with all of these is all of these astrological methods all work to the 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
cool.
this was basically devised back in 1029 AD by an Arab astrologer known as Al-Biruni.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote the Book of Instruction in the Elements of the Art of Astrology. But it was only first published in English in 1934.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I know. But I have to, of all the forms, I'd never heard of this one.
No, I've not. But saying that, I've heard people refer to them drawing out Zodiac. So maybe that's what they're referring to.
What? Sorry, I got distracted. Pardon. Sorry. I'm back in the room. What did you say? Sorry, carry on.
I've heard astrologists, when you go in for like your astrology reading, I've heard them refer to the fact that they draw up the charts and everything. So maybe this is what they're talking about.
But this is based on a specific question. So you'd go to your astrologist and say, am I going to find... Oh, I don't know. No, it's probably more specific than that. Will I get the job that I'm going for? Or, how is it portentous for this particular job? Will I get a career change that I need? And you would do an astrology reading just on that one question, rather than like a natal astrological reading which covers your life. Yeah. I mean, that became quite a thing at one point, didn't it? Like, as a gift for the new baby, was to provide them with an astrological birth chart. And I kind of wanted to get that done for my boys, but I never did it.
It was quite popular in the 80s.
I love the way that they've gone off into the page 3 of the freaking sun in the bloody... That must be where we were talking about how the sun moves and the cosmos moves, and Ashley's like, what? The universe is in constant motion. Oh my God.
Oh dear.
Oh my God. You wouldn't believe I spent all day looking at this. Honestly, I feel like I've learnt nothing. Do you know, like when you've researched a topic and you come out the back going, what the hell is that all about? There are 12 signs pretty much in every form of astrological divination going. When you're born, basically, is all about your traits and your personality and your life map, effectively. You can do it on questions that from the here and the now going forward. And it's very complicated. That's kind of what I've learnt today. Oh, goodness me.
Well, I totally agree with that. And I've also learned that you're the rooster. I'm the dragon, and we share it with everyone in the chat room.
Yeah, well, there's a few snakes and, in there as well. Dragons, snakes, and roosters in there. Yeah. So, there are loads of traditions, though, that the Chinese follow. Going back to the beginning of the show, there are lots of traditions that the Chinese do to celebrate. I found out a few tonight. They give presents of money in red envelopes.
Yeah, that's where the whole idea of the red letter day thing came from.
It is, because yeah.
Pass over the red envelopes. I knew that one.
Yeah. And they have to cook loads and loads of food to store it up, because there are certain traditions certain things they're not allowed to do. So 2 days before the Chinese New Year, they clean their house like mad people, because in the 5 days following the New Year, they're not allowed to clean, because otherwise it cleans away their good luck.
Okay.
And that's why they're not allowed to cook either, which is why they cook so much food. So they can reheat, but they can't cook from scratch. Otherwise, you're cooking away your good luck.
It sounds like our Christmas, doesn't it? Really, we cook so much food. We're eating turkey leftovers.
I was thinking, I don't cook for 5 days at Christmas. So what planet is he on?
There's leftovers for a couple of days after Christmas. I think.
And yeah, so it's a huge global celebration that everybody is, all the Chinese people anyway. And I have to say, we're a bit horrible in the Western world because we go, yay, it's Chinese New Year, let's get a Chinese. But then none of them are open to celebrate.
Oh, dear. No,
Kind of want it all, don't we?
Yeah. I'm too busy cooking 5 days of meals.
Well, I'm not going to be doing that, put it that way.
But I do like the idea of not cleaning for the next 5 days.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said when I found that out. I thought, oh, great. I don't have to do my housework this week. Excellent. And things like washing and stuff like that, like washing your clothes and stuff like that, they don't do either.
Okay. So now I'm all on top of my washing, so I don't need to do that.
Well, that's fine, even if you don't, because 5 days you don't have to.
Exactly. I'll stick with that. That's fine.
You just have to, turn things inside out and stuff if you missed that deadline.
Anyway, on that note...
we've actually come to the end of the show. Thank God for that. And this time next year, if I even suggest... just tell me to remember the horror of today is all I'm
I'm
going
going to keep your research and I'm going to send it back to you and say you really want to cover this.
Remember this day. Do you remember it, Kerry? And I'll be like, no.
Oh, shit.
In fact, actually, on Parasearch Radio, we do say we cover all areas of the paranormal and spiritual. I'm going to decree it on the block list. Astrology. Unless we get a fantastic astrologist who can actually explain it to me in terms that I might actually understand.
And so next week on the Paranormal Concept Show, we're going to be doing astronomy.
You're not even here next week, so no, we won't be doing astronomy next week. Because I don't even know how the sun moves around the universe.
So what are we coming up for the following week?
Oh, thank God for that. Right, God, that felt like I was giving birth. Right, so tomorrow evening on Haunted Histories, Penny is talking with the lovely Darren Jensen all about Chatham Dockyard. And then on Thursday evening, the PSH Radio guys have got Kenny Attison on Lights and from Lights Paranormal in the studio. There is a Dark Mirror show this week. Yes, everybody, I hear you go, woohoo! The Dark Mirror show. We are talking about the Devil's Footprints, and it is the anniversary, 1855, that happened in, believe it or not.
Okay.
And it is the anniversary of when they first appeared in the snow. So we are looking at Devil's Footprints. Then on Saturday afternoon, over on the Parasearch Radio group page on Facebook, Penny is doing her Q&A session this week at 6 p.m. Be there if you want to ask her lots of difficult questions. She can't wait. She's already started her beauty regime, is all I'm saying. And then on Sunday evening, on the Spirit Dimension, I am continuing the theme of positive psychology and talking to an actual life coach about things we can do within our own life that can bring in a little bit of positive psychology. So that with Lisa Michaels, that is. So, and Claire Hinks. Don't forget my lovely Claire. So that's what we've got going on for the rest of the week.
Brilliant. Sounds good. I'll be tuning into a few of those shows.
Good.
All of them.
All of them, yeah. I should hope you will.
I'll try and get all of them, but I don't know, we'll see. Depends on what comes up.
I would just like to say, I received Mark, finally, after 2 years of asking Mark for his bio for the website, I've received it. We will let you know as soon as it goes up, because I was crying when I read it. It's so funny. So
I shall
funny.
endeavour to put that up tonight.
Yeah, it was hysterical. So the bio for Mark O'Malley will be going up on the Parasearch Radio website. Now, don't forget, if you miss any of our shows, you need to pop over to YouTube, where, if you like what you see, click like, share and subscribe and help spread the word of Parasearch Radio, and covering all areas, apart from astrology, on... Oh, God. Yeah, help spread the word. We thank you so much for joining us. I've lost it now. I'm gone. Carry on. Finish your show off, love.
Lost it. So I want to thank everyone that's joined us in the chat room tonight. It's been an absolute blast. Hope you've enjoyed it. So it's a good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.